Today's openings begin with Grandpa's Sweater Oatmeal Stout from Barnhammer Brewing in Winnipeg. If you've been watching this channel for any length of time, you've heard me talking about this one before. It's just a nice roasty, malty oatmeal stout. Very comfortable drink. I like it. But my beer choices aren't why most of you are here. You're here to see what I got in the mail. And this one doesn't have any customs lies on the outside of it, so let's see what it actually is. Oh, it's more fuses. These particular ones are 10 amp 250 volt in the 20 millimeter size as opposed to the 30 millimeter that I got last time. And these are, as I've mentioned before, to just fill up my stock of fuses for my various multimeters. As I mentioned before, I foolishly left the leads plugged into the wrong spot on one of my multimeters and blew out the fuse. So I figured I'd just stock up on fuses that all of my meters take, just so that when I do that again, I'll have what I need. 5 to 50 pieces ceramic fuse, 5 by 20 millimeter, 5 by 20 TF, slow, fast, blow, 250 volt, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 amp. Plenty of options. The ones that I got, as you saw, are the 10 amp fast blow, 20-piece bag for $4.58 Canadian with free shipping. And nothing much more to say about them down here. What more do you say about fuses, really? All right, next thing in is a mystery that came to my P.O. box. So thank you to whoever my anonymous donor is. It's another restocking of the short jumper wires. These are often referred to as DuPont wires. They are used, as I'm sure most of you know, in breadboards or for patching together Arduino type modules and things like that. Looks like this one is a stock of 40 of them in 10 different colors. Is that 10? 2, 4, 6, yeah, 10 different colors. So those are super handy to have. You always use them. You always damage them because you're always using them. So it's just good to have more. So thanks again to my anonymous donor. And here's the search that'll help you find them. DuPont jumper, 10 centimeter, 40 pieces for 99 cents Canadian with free shipping. I mean, you can't get stuff cheaper than that. And for something that, like I said, you tend to use very often, you damage them because you're using them so often. When you're using them, you usually need multiples. Thanks once again to my anonymous donor. All right, next thing in is something that I ordered. It looks like it came from through a courier that uses a local warehouse. Interesting. And what do we got here? A couple of things. Okay, looks like there's relays on these modules. Let's see what we got. So we have 3 2-pin screw terminals. This one is labeled out, plus and minus. This one is labeled DC, plus and minus, and this one is labeled battery, plus and minus. Relay, a small chip in there, diode capacitor, a couple of diodes. That one is an LED. Down here we have an inductor, so inductor, small chip, capacitor, and diode. That tells me that we've got probably a buck regulator going on there. The markings on the back of the board do absolutely nothing to help me. Unfortunately, I can't really see the traces on this side, so it's kind of hard to figure, but I'm guessing, based on what's left of my memory, this is probably one of those power fail switchover relay modules. Essentially, the brains, if you could call it that, analog brains probably, of a DC UPS kind of thing, if I remember correctly. Let me check back through my listings and see if that is what it is. Power failure protection module, automatic switching module, UPS emergency board. I got 2 of these from Ellis, one went out in 1983. Well, there's a name that we haven't heard in a while. 2 of them for $4.04 each, plus some shipping, unfortunately, but that seems to be the way things are going these days. Not much information down here. It's a power outage automatic switch module for 12 to 48 volt battery. 12 to 48 volt control relay module. So I seem to recall seeing Scott at Def Palms Repair playing with one of these many months ago, and that seemed like a good module to grab. So I grabbed some other ones. I think they showed up a month or so ago. And then these ones, I'm not sure if they're the same boards or different, but I got them from two different sellers. So I'm hoping that they're different so that when I get to them, I can play with them and see which ones I like. Ultimately, I would like to be able to put some battery backup on my cable modem and router, just so that when the power goes out, those things take forever to reboot and reconnect and everything. So if I can prevent that from happening, then I think it will make my life a little bit better. And who doesn't want incremental improvements in your quality of life? All right, next in, this is by far the heaviest of the things I've got so far. It says connectors on it. Okay, that should be interesting. So I got 2 packages of connectors. Let's see what these... Oh, weatherproofing bits. Oh, these are Ethernet connectors. So I guess that waterproofing ring probably goes that way around the back, and then seals like that if you've done it properly, something like that anyway. So it looks like I got 5 of the weatherproof chassis mount ones, and and 5 of the mating cable ends. Oh, these are ones that are they're referred to as Ethercon generically, although that is Nutric's trademark on them. But realistically, they are a locking, weather-resistant, industrial strength in Ethernet connection. These are increasingly commonly used in the entertainment industry because all the control systems are moving towards Ethernet based or network based connections. So if you use more rugged connectors like these, they they hold up to life on the road, really. Of course, I don't do that stuff professionally or anything, and the last time that I did get paid to do it, nobody was using networking for anything in stage systems. Yes, it was that long ago. But I saw these for cheap, and I thought I would grab some just mostly to play around with. But if I'm building something that needs a little bit more rugged connector and has a Raspberry Pi in it with a wired connection or something like that, I thought that might be cool to have. 10 pieces, aka 5 sets, 8P8C RJ45 waterproof connector, Orange&Black panel mount wire connector, RJ45 Ethernet network connector, IP65 level. There is one of the important features of this. It is water resistant when it is connected together. There are O-rings all over the place in it. Anyway, I got this particular set, 5 pieces of the A1015 connector and 5 pieces of the A1016. The A1015 is the male. The A1016 is, where is it? Is the chassis mount. But I got them together as a set. And I'm not quite sure what the difference is because they have other sets. This one is 1015 and 1017. And 1017 is the other chassis mount one. And I don't know what the difference between that connector and that connector is other than how they photographed it. My guess is, despite the picture, that on one of them, the there we go. The indoor or inside or behind the panel connector comes out at 90 degrees. But that is, again, a different part number. I think the only difference, I think that's also the difference between these ones. They're just in black, but they lazied out and used the wrong picture. That's my guess. I don't know. Anyway, these are currently going for, where's the set that I got? 1968 Canadian with $7.49 shipping. When I got them, it was a little bit more. They're currently on sale, so woohoo, I guess, if you're in the market for them right now. So, to get the cable into these, you unscrew the barrel off the back, put your cable through there, and that's already creating a flexible seal on there. And you pop this piece out, that goes back on there, and that goes on there. And then you splay your wires out and organize them per whatever standard you are using for your wiring. And I hope I've got that right, although I'm always unsure. Whoever designed this standard to use both green and brown really didn't do us colorblind people any favors at all. But I'm pretty sure I got that right, matching the other end of the cable. Yes, I'm not using the correct tool for this. The correct tool for these pass-through connectors has a knife on the end of it that shears them off. Go sue me, I'm not using the right one, but it works anyway. So, now that you've got that, it goes into the connector with the tab facing up. Goes through and sits there, and that holds the tab down. And that bung goes in the back. That hard plastic piece goes on there, so that pushes evenly on that rubber and squishes it down. And then there's a sort of a slightly conical ring inside there that presses down on it. Note the O-ring right here that this will jam down onto. And of course, as I mentioned, that's rubbing on the back of the cable, and that orange bung inside is holding tight on it. Screw that down just hand tight. It's bottomed out. That connector's nicely protected in there. And then when it inserts into there, there's a mechanical latch. It won't let go unless you push that. That doesn't push on the tab. That is just locking the connector right there. And also you can see down in here, I think there's an orange O-ring in there, again, giving you some waterproofing on the seal. And then this gasket tightens up against your chassis to keep the water out. And of course, when you're not using it, the cap goes on there, at least until you lose it. Much more solid than just directly plugging in naked out in the breeze. If somebody bashes into that, they're not going to damage the little plastic connector. I like it. In the right applications, it is absolutely the right tool for the job. And even though these are cheap Chinese knockoffs of a solid German design, I am still going to be happy with these here, for my applications anyway. Your mileage may vary, of course. Oh yeah, and the other thing, if all your cables are built to this standard and you encounter a place where you don't have those to connect into, you have to connect into something else, you can just quickly, without any tools, just yoink that out. The tab is still there, and you can plug into wall panels or whatever you've got, or the back of a computer or something like that. And no tools, no damage. Yeah, good system. I like it. Well thought out stuff. And the last thing in, as tradition dictates, it is the largest thing today. Let's chop into this, because it doesn't say anything on the outside to give me any clues as to what it is, although I haven't ordered anything this huge. What does that say? 30 by 30 by 2.5 centimeter. Ah, there we go. Egg trough wall soundproof foam. 6, 12, 24 pieces, high density sound absorbing material, atomic foam sealing noise insulation, color black, 12 pieces with tapes. Ah, okay. There's information on the back too. Let's just gently slice into this and see what is in the envelopes here. Oh, okay. That looks like double-sided mounting dots, some of which have already peeled off just in the shipping package. That's not ideal. But acoustic foam panels, environmentally friendly polyurethane. Is polyurethane environmentally friendly? 50 pounds per cubic yard. All right. Let me just unstick this manual from the adhesive dots, and we'll see what it has to say for itself. Well, that was a bit of a chore. So, what does this say? Open the packaging, soak it in water, wring it dry, throw it in the clothes dryer, tape a nano to the back, and install. Or method 2, not in cold climates, open packaging, let it sit for a couple of days, and then tape 3M VHB tape to the back, which is Not what they included, but whatever. And then install. Okay, so let's see what happens when I open this up and pull these things out. They are vacuum packed, super duper flat, like ridiculously flat here. Oh, bag in a bag. Okay, I'm expecting these to start expanding almost immediately when I let them out, although they did say to let them sit for 48 hours before you use them, so maybe they're not quite that instant. Let's get those sticky dots out of the way. There we go. There's one piece out. Oh, okay. And you can sort of see that egg crate waffle kind of texture. So they claim that they will inflate up to, what thickness did they say? They didn't say. Oh wait, was that on the outside of the bag? Hang on. Yeah, it said 2.5 centimeters thick. Wow, that's a huge ratio of expansion. Because right now in their compressed state, they're about 5 millimeters thick. Well, when they came out of the bag, they're even less than that, but they've already expanded to about 5 millimeters. So we'll just let that sit there and expand for the time it takes me to go and find the description of them. And they're already much thicker than they were. And yeah, we'll see how much thickness we can get in the time I've got left to record this video. TOUO egg trough, egg trough. Wow, I would call it egg crate. Anyway, wall foam, soundproof foam, 61224, blah 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 pieces, high density sound absorbing material, acoustic foam sealing, noise insulation. Yeah, all those things. So they have both medium and high density versions. The high density is more expensive. I got the black. They have all these other colors, but I think black is just the classic. Maybe a gray, but I like the black. It's what I'm used to seeing in recording studios and whatnot. I got 12 pieces with tapes, which is those sticky dots that were stuck to the bag and the manual and everything else. I chose the 2.5 centimeter thick version. There's also one that's double the thickness. So let's just max this out. If you go high density, and the thicker one almost doubles the price. Yeah. So there's what it looks like when it's finally poofed back up. As I said, this is soundproofing material for your walls. I don't have too much problem with an echo in here right now because it's got so much crud around me that there's no parallel surfaces to echo, but I'm hoping to get things a little bit more tidied up and organized in the off-camera areas that I'm too embarrassed to show you guys. Well, not really. I've shown it to you before, but I don't like to show it because it's just, well, the name of the channel kind of describes it really. Anyway, yeah, I'm planning on organizing this place, and when I do, I think I might have a bit more echo in the room, so that's what I wanted these for. And there is the contents of today's Mailbag Monday haul. Wow, quite the variety. So I've got more multimedia fuses, and I think I've got one more value of those coming out of the bunch that I ordered. This is the third package I've got so far of different values. So when those all arrive, I'll give them a quick test just to make sure they actually do what they're supposed to do. You know, being cheap imports, some people were pretty concerned about it. I am not all that concerned, quite honestly, but a lot of you guys in the comments previously wanted to see them tested, so fine, I'll do that. Anonymous donor came through once again with a bunch more DuPont jumper cables. Always super handy to have when you're doing breadboard stuff or microcontroller module stuff, things like that. And thanks, as always, for any donations to the channel like that. Next, we had these two power switchover relay modules. I'm not quite sure if they're the same or slightly different than the one I previously got, but I'm hoping to test those out and try them out and experiment with them in the future. Thanks to Scott at DefPalm's channel for showing these in a previous video where he was modifying them to change the switchover speed. He discovered that they take a little bit too long to switch over because the internal power supply, the capacitor, I think it's this one, took a little bit too long to discharge and drop the relay out. So he dropped that a little bit, which part of the result of that, you might get a little bit more ripple on your DC power supply, but not enough to cause problems. But the upside is the relay drops out a lot faster and your switchover time happens faster. If I can remember, I will put a link to that video, one of those places over there, if you want to check it out. But in the meantime, I'll have to experiment with those in the future. Next, we've got these Ethercon knockoff RJ45 connectors. I think there's going to be 1 or 2 applications that I'll have for these. I certainly won't need 5 sets of them, but it was cheaper to buy them as pairs rather than buying a bunch of these and a bunch of these separately. So these are really good for portable equipment and stuff that might be operated in, splash zones and whatnot and unpredictable places, which is what they're designed for. And then there is this acoustic foam. There's 2 different kinds of acoustic treatment you can do. One of them is echo reduction, which is what this is. Basically just softening up the hard surfaces so audio doesn't bounce off them. These are less effective for the other type, which is sound transmission, basically reducing outside noise coming into your environment. Things like dogs barking on the street, or as you may have heard earlier, an air conditioner running or a sump pump running or something like that. But in the time that I have been recording this, I remember it was up to about 5.5 millimeters before. Now it's up to 7.5. So it is slowly expanding, but that's going to be very slowly, and it's going to take a few days. I think I'll probably fan them out and spread them out, maybe even in the sun outside. I'm not sure, or maybe just on the pool table in the basement, and let them slowly expand up to their size. I'm not going to need them right away anyway, because cleaning up around here, as you might expect, is a very time-consuming and labor-intensive process. So I won't be needing them for a little while. But anyway, yeah, those I think will be useful. Anyway, yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks to my anonymous donors, my YouTube channel members, and my Patreons for helping support the channel, keeping the beer fridge full, and keeping the mailbags rolling in. And of course, thanks as always to viewers like you for coming back every week and hopefully enjoying what I'm up to. I will talk to you later.